Hi, it's Pete from Pete's Projects. Just got back from a backcountry, off-grid, shoreline camping trip on Lake Powell in Utah. And I had put together this packing list prior to the trip, and it turned out it worked pretty well. So I wanted to share that with you in case it's certainly useful for Lake Powell, but it could be useful for anything. So I'll walk you through what I brought, and hopefully it'll help you prepare for your trip. If you're interested in my trip, Lake Powell or solar kayak, which was the purpose of my trip, you can check out my channel and see my other videos. All right, hope this helps. So here's, I titled it a boat shore camping packing checklist, but you can update this for your own purposes. Now, my goal was to travel as lightly as possible. My experience is I always bring too much stuff, and then you just have to carry it around and pack it and unpack it. And so tried to do some real good planning for this trip. I broke it into categories that you can use as well that fit your particular kind of trip. I did a kayak trip, and I did a solar powered kayak trip, no less. So I have a kind of different transportation needs here. But this was, generally I'm an off-grid kind of traveler. I don't like these electronics, but in this case I did. I had a phone because I was using Bluetooth to monitor the systems. And so I brought an inverter, which is a way to, I did not bring an inverter, but I could have brought an inverter which ties into my battery. I ended up choosing a USB charger, which ties directly into the solar, so I could charge my phone. Real cheap option. Hygiene. I was camping on Lake Powell. A portable toilet is a requirement, and it's just good practice no matter where you're camping. I use wag bags and a portable toilet and wet wipes instead of toilet paper. That way you can use them for cleaning your dishes and hands and so forth, whatever you want to do. Biodegradable soap. Use Dr. Bonner's. I've been using that for many years. It's a great soap, all-purpose. A garbage bag, clean up my own mess, and certainly clean up others' mess if I find it. A camp towel, DOP kit with medications and toothbrush and so forth. Safety and emergency. So a first aid kit, in my case a life vest and a whistle, which were requirements on the lake. Sunscreen, I'm in the desert southwest, very important. Reliable maps and navigation aids. This was tough on Lake Powell because the water levels have changed so much that the shoreline is completely different than the maps represent. I used a phone app. Guru was quite useful on this trip, so check that out. Food and water, of course, I used freeze-dried because it's very light. I actually found some super good food at REI, so I was eating quite well. And I bring dried fruit and nuts, energy food to get through the day. Water filter purifier, very important in my case. So I had a Grail water bottle that I could filter water right out of the lake. Works very well. Coffee or tea, camp stove. I have a little camp stove that's very powerful. Boils water in a couple minutes. And that kit has pots and pans, so that's a nice one. You know, and eating utensils, of course, something very light. Shelter, tent. I like to bring small tarp. If you have space for it, you can use it as additional shelter if you need it. Sleeping bag, you know, depending on what the environment you're going to be in, bring the proper sleeping bag. Pillow, I use clothing and towels and things like that. Sunshade, something I didn't have on this Lake Powell trip, which boy, I sure needed it. So I added that to the list after. Foul weather clothing, again, something I needed that I didn't have. It's June in the desert. I didn't think I needed it, made a mistake, ended up dealing with foul weather. Sun hat, sun shirt, sun pants, very lightweight stuff to block the sun here in the desert. Water shoes, some cold weather clothing, which I did have. Hiking shoes, head, neck, face coverings if you want it. Some tools. I had some complicated stuff with me with the solar setup, so I wanted to make sure if I had a problem I could fix it. So I brought a few things that I knew would help. Not too much, just enough. Storage, dry bags, I'm on water, bungees, clips, and tie downs. I love those things for lots of purposes, had a lot of those. Non-dry bags for things that could get wet. For comfort, a headlamp at night. Solar camp light is just, they're real cheap and easy to use these days. A book or whatever you need for your comfort. This is what I brought. You bring what works for you. All right, you're probably already saying he forgot this or he shouldn't be bringing that, and that's okay. Please add it in the comments. I noticed I forgot to put sunglasses on there, and sunglasses really important in desert Southwest, and I brought polarized glasses. Were super great for seeing fish in the water. Hey, if this is interesting to you or any of my other projects might be interesting to you, please subscribe. Happy travels and travel light and travel safe. Take care. Thanks.